Going on, everyone? My name is Lucas, and welcome to what is basically becoming its own show. I think I said this the last time, but kind of what is becoming its own thing, this chilling with Lofi, doing some D&D stuff. It is something I like doing. It's something I want to do more regularly, but I don't necessarily think this is a stream in which I'm going to schedule by any means, just because I don't necessarily keep track of everything that I do with this, and a lot of the stuff that I do on these streams is kind of a when I need it moment. But if you're new to this stream, hey, thanks for stopping by. That's where we chill out, listen to some lo-fi, work on some D&D things. And as you can see by the title, today is the UA server. I should probably update that expert UA survey. There we go. So this is going to be the survey from Wizards of the Coast, hosted on D&D Beyond, for their 1D&D playtest material. And this is the second survey they did. The first survey was obviously on the character origins, the races and, some of the new spells and new rules and first level feats. This one is going to be on the expert classes. Now, we've already done an episode. We've already done a show where we went through the expert classes, the bards, the rogue, the ranger. I gave a lot of my points already on that stuff. But then it was jumping into the different feats that were available. We really didn't go over changes to spells and stuff because, there were things that changed, like a lot of healing, some of the healing spells getting moved from evocation to abjuration and whatnot. But, excuse me. What we're going to be doing today is we're going to be filling out the survey in order to give our opinion. Now, I have had the chance to test out some of this stuff. I obviously have not played in a game where we have really focused on the playtest material. There are some groups that I am a part of that are putting together groups to play one-shots in, small games, strictly for the idea of testing out this, this content. Unfortunately, try as I might, I just have not been able to get into one of those, more just my own scheduling. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and get a jump into this. I'm still going to be doing my first 15 tonight at, 9:30, but I got to be out of here around 7, so got a good hour and a half to hang out and relax and take my time with this and give a legitimate response. So we'll go ahead and get started in here. Thanks for taking time to complete the survey. Turn down the music just a hair. There we go. All right. If you haven't read them, read them here. Right. All right. So on to the first one. Would you like to rate the material? Yes. That's the whole purpose why I'm taking the survey. By the way, I went to Target yesterday and I got some watermelon limeade G Fuel in a can. Now, I've had the powder and it tastes like it's a good watermelon, kind of a little sour, a little tart. This legit carbonated in a can, 100% just tastes like Mountain Dew. It's crazy, but it has like a bit of a tartness. All right, so what is the first edition of D&D that I played? So, actually, I guess as this is my first public survey filling, there is some, I guess I'll kind of explain my my points. Now, I've never played a D&D, or first or second or third. I have played 3.5, I have played 4th, and I have played 5th. Technically speaking, even though I played 3.5 the very first time I ever played D&D, and this was years ago. It was with one of my well, actually it was with one of my parents' cousins, but that was literally like 20 minutes. I was over their house. I sat down at the table. Him and his friends were playing, rolled some dice. I don't consider that my first foray. So my first edition technically is 5e. Which of the following have I? I have not play tested any of them. Now, out of how satisfied are you overall with the classes as presented? Let me zoom in on here. There we go. That's a little better. How satisfied? The Bard, I'm satisfied. I like the Bard. I like what they have done with the Bard. I like the change to the Bardic Inspiration. I think it's a good change. I like that they are now prepared casters. I like that Rangers are also prepared. But I like that they are this Song of Restoration. I like that they're doing a little bit more with the healing magic. I think Bards have always been, a lot of Bards have been healing based for some campaigns and for some groups. I like that that is a thing. I also like how a lot of what it is now, especially with the subclass, is more digging into just making what was good better. I know a lot of people didn't like them becoming prepared casters. I personally like that because I think when it comes to expert, I think the idea of being an expert is to have a range of utility. The ability to swap spells on a day-to-day basis plays into that to no end. I played a Bard. I played a Bard for 2.5 years. I took him from level 1 to 20. There were spells that I had that I wish that I would have traded, but I didn't want to swap them out here and there because I knew they had some good utility whenever I would need it. So I was very hesitant to get rid of some of them, but now that they're prepared, now that they're like a cleric and a druid, where it's like, hey, we're going to raid the camp today, so I'm gonna need to stock up on my healing, or we're going to the ball or the court, and I need to stock up on my enchantment spells. I like that. I think that's a great overall change. So I'm gonna say I'm satisfied. I would lean more towards very satisfied, but I don't think a ton of it, even though a lot of it has changed, I think, and it has changed for the good, I just don't think it's been like a crazy one. The Ranger, I know I talked to no end about this. I think the Ranger is leaps and bounds better now than it ever was. Again, spell preparation, I think, is great. Favorite enemy, giving you Hunter's Mark now is amazing. Getting that expertise, as an expert now. Fighting styles has always been the case, but like the extra feet, not the extra feet, the extra speed, the roving, that's great. Tireless, that's great. I think what they have done with the Ranger is they have taken it from being a very exploration specific based class where combat and social is an afterthought to saying, okay, D&D has 3 pillars: exploration, social, and combat. But combat is where the skills really shine and where a lot more games have a heavier focus. Now, this doesn't mean that there aren't more heavy role-play games, or there's heavy, and I mean like whole groups. There's not like heavier role-play groups and there's heavier exploration groups, but combat is such a heavy facet of D&D that I think this plays a little more into that and makes it so that the Ranger is not as of a, not a detriment, but not as lacking. And then lastly, onto the Rogue. Nothing really changed about the Rogue, but I think that's good. I mean, Jeremy Crawford even mentioned it. He said, Rogue was one of those classes that they didn't want, the community did not necessarily want there to be a ton of change with the Rogue. So I don't think it's a big deal that they didn't change a lot. I like that they didn't change a lot because I think the Rogue is a fairly good, solid class. How satisfied are you with all these elements of the bard? Creating the bard, that's fine. I don't necessarily think that these matter. Satisfied, I guess. Okay, bardic inspiration. I like bardic inspiration. I like that it is now, usable for healing. I like that it's also a reaction. I think that's a huge change. In the past, it used to be that you would give it to somebody and they would have it for 10 minutes and, use it or lose it kind of a situation. I like that it is now a reaction. I also really like the fact that if you fail, you don't lose it at a higher level. Okay, when you get that higher level, where was superior, or, wait, was this it? No, am I thinking of over here? No. I know it was in here. I can't think of, where it is now, but, I swear to God there was a, oh yeah, no, here it is, yeah. If they get a 1, that is not expended. Yeah, it's a 7th level ability. So once we'll get to that, I really like that. I think that's a great change. All right, I gotta drink some normal ass water, not some G Fuel. It's been a dry ass day. Also been a very tired day. I'm exhausted. I almost didn't do this because I'm sleepy, but I owe it to myself. And I owe it to you guys, to the community. That's what we're about. All right, spellcasting. Absolutely love it. I love that they're doing prepared. I know I just talked about that to no end, but perfect. Love that they're getting expertise. They already did, but, hey, glad that they're keeping that. I think Songs of Restoration is good. I think bards should have a little bit more access to healing magic. I think when a lot of people think of healing, they think of, like, mending wounds and stuff, but healing is also about raising morale. That's a huge thing about bards. That's why they are healers in a lot of cases. It's not just about stitching a cut. Hit points are not a measurement of physical damage. It can also be mental stress and anguish and your devotion to a cause. You're losing the will to live. Okay, so I think Songs of Restoration, I like that. The Bard subclass, we'll get into that, but yeah, Satisfied. I think they're just hitting each one. Satisfied, hold on. We're just gonna, because probably after this, okay, yeah, so for all of these ones where it's a subclass feature and gain a feat, yeah, I think we're just gonna skip past those. All right, Jack of all trades, adding half of your proficiency bonus to any check that you lack the proficiency bonus. So the thing is that the Bard's Jack of all, the big difference now is that hold on, let me pull this up here. Let me throw that up here. All right, so the Jack of all used to be a 2nd level ability, and it's that you add half your proficiency bonus rounded down to any ability check you make that doesn't already include your proficiency bonus. It's pretty much the same. Add half of your proficiency bonus to any ability check that you make that uses a skill proficiency you lack that doesn't otherwise use your proficiency bonus. So I like this. I mean, am I crazy that it's now a 5th level ability and not a 2nd level ability? Yeah, that kind of sucks, but you know what? I think what you get because of that, I think the Songs of Restoration, I think, you had expertise already coming down the line. But I think with the changes that you get with expertise or with, not expertise, but Bardic Inspiration, with spellcasting, I think it's a decent trade-off to put that at 5th level. I mean, that's your 5th level abilities is your cornerstone ability. That's your first step into, like, the class main feature. And Jack of all is a huge one for bards. So yeah, does it suck that it's that far ahead? yeah, but that's fine. So I'm satisfied with that. Font of Bardic Inspiration. This is the one where you can expend all, or you get all your uses of Bardic Inspiration back on a short or long rest, as well as if you roll a 1, you get that back. I absolutely love that. Again, as I said before, I think that's a great feature. I love that that is the case. And I you know, any way that we can, any way that you can, like, really not just make skills die. That is one of the biggest, downsides to stuff is, you get this ability. It's really cool. You have like 2 uses of it and it just doesn't work. That it sucks. So I like that this is one that gets a little bit of an extra oomph. All right. So feat. Yep. Satisfied. Expertise. Yeah. Glad that we have that. Subclass feature. Cool. Okay. Magic secrets. This is pretty much the same. In the past, Magic Secrets used to be at 10. Now it's at 11. Choose a spell list, Arcane, Divine, or Primal. Choose up to 2 of the spells can be from that list. So, and then you choose another one. So, Magical Secrets is just giving you access to the other big categories of spells. So, it's pretty much the same thing as it was before. Choose any 2 spells from any classes, including this one. And then you do get more as you go along, which here you only get 2. But it is, that is a drawback. So, but I think, I think, it's fine because honestly, I've never played other than the one campaign I played for a few years. I've never had a campaign go past 15th level. So I don't think it's a huge deal that this is where things like kind of peter out, truly. And then 18th level. Yeah. So magical secrets. Yeah, I'm fine with that. Cool with that. Cool with that. Further magical secrets. Again, I'm satisfied. I don't have an issue with any of those. Feat 16th level, cool. Whenever you roll initiative, you regain 2 uses of Bardic Inspiration. I want to say that there was, if you have none, you gain 1. Yeah, I like the change on this. It's not a capstone anymore. I mean, this is your capstone, but I like how it's not just, it's not just 1, it's 2, and it's also that if you don't have it, whereas now you just regain 2 expended uses. So, you could regain 1, you could regain 2, because at that point, as your character, you're going to have, whatchamacallit, number of uses is, equal to your proficiency bonus. So if we're looking at that, at 18th level, we're going to have a +6. That's just the ability to, like, constantly keep recharging. And I mean, depending on your DM, you could be a real shit about it and even say like, oh, I'm going to challenge the fighter. I used some Bardic Inspiration. Well, I'm going to challenge the fighter to a quick bout of fisticuffs. And we're going to roll initiative, and then you just recharge 2 of your uses, and then you call it, and then you just rinse and repeat. All right, so I like that. I like how it's changed. Very satisfied. Feat gained at 19th level. Yep, fine. I like the epic boons. I don't think anybody's going to play up to 20th level that often to really care about it. So, sure. Prepared spells, love. Again, absolutely love it. All right, so some of my comments. Very much appreciate the adjustment to the bard's casting, not ability, system. Preparing spells makes it far more of a utility basis than the previous option. What else did I want to mention? So, like, how... All right. So yeah, I think those are my main 2 points. You know, preparing spells makes it far more of a utility basis than the previous option. I also like there we go. How the bard is getting more serious love in the healing arts with Songs of Restoration. Again, 2 of my main points. All right. So, on to the subclass. How do we feel about it overall? I enjoyed it. I didn't think there was too much, too much to really sit on with it. You know, a lot of it was already very similar. Bonus proficiencies, cutting words did definitely, change up a bit. You know, being able to really use that, whenever they can't hear you, that was a huge thing, because that makes it far more powerful. Also, the fact that on here, the previous one, they had the additional magical secrets. I like the improved cutting words, being able to deal psychic damage, so getting that little bit of extra combat prowess, much like I said about the ranger. So satisfied overall, I would say. Bonus proficiencies, definitely, still think is where it should have been. Cutting words, I like that. Cunning inspiration, creatures being able to roll twice, take the highest. I think advantage is always great. Being able to deal the psychic damage, I really liked that. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, using bardic inspiration again. That kind of essence of advantage in a sense. Enjoy the new combat prowess. Tie in with cutting words. I also enjoy the ability to get advantage, inspiration, or the ability to reroll. Cool. All right, on to the ranger. How do I feel about the ranger? Are these 2 particular spots, I guess? I don't know. You know what? Come to think of it, I'm gonna go back a step. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put this as very satisfied. I'm gonna put this as like, or actually I'm gonna leave that one, but I'm gonna use that as like the basis of my everything. So, creating ranger, very satisfied, 100%. I think it's great. We already talked about it. I think it's great. Expertise, awesome. Give that ranger some skills. Favorite enemy, perfect. Prepared spell casting, perfect. Fighting style, I actually am not a huge fan that they made fighting styles now feat, where it's like it's a different feat. But I guess it's just different ways to categorize it, so it is what it is. Ranger subclass, sure. Feat, extra attack is always there. I love that. Great, awesome. Roving, awesome. Getting a climb speed, getting a swim speed, increasing your base speed, making the ranger be about combat and exploration tied together. The ability to give them more options. Awesome on that. Awesome on more expertise as they level up. That's great. Subclass, was that my dog? That was my dog. Tireless, getting finishing or reducing your exhaustion by 1 on a short rest and also gaining some temporary hit points on a long or short rest. I love this. Again, this ties in really well with the concept of the ranger being somebody that can outpace most other classes. You know, a monk is very fast because they have very strong muscles and they are trained and they are focused, but rangers just move. Rangers are constantly on the go. They are traveling everywhere in every which way, and they know the streams and they know the mountains and they know the fields and the deserts and the hills, and they know that rock from that rock, and they constantly on the go. And that's the idea that this is really built up. Nature's Veil, the ability to turn invisible. This was pretty much the same thing as here it is, Hide in Plain Sight. It's not exactly, it's definitely a different, but I like it. I like the fact that it's now just becoming invisible, but it's also using a spell slot, so it's making it a little bit more useful, but it's also tying it to a resource. I like whenever stuff is like that. Give me more abilities and make them stronger, but make them be something where I either have a limited amount of uses or I have to trade off other things I want to do. I really like when they tie stuff to spell slots. I think that's a great mechanic because it makes you sit and really think about how you want to use your abilities. You know, would you rather use a spell slot and use Nature's Veil, or use it on another spell? Use it on any other ability you could. You have to weigh those options, and I like that because it makes you think more critically about how you use your abilities. So that's a great one. Subclass. Feral Senses, getting Blindsight out to 30 feet is just phenomenal. It's just like the dwarves getting, Tremor Sense as a bonus action. Again, it's just weird, but I like it. And Foe Slayer. Now, I think Foe Slayer is great. I think Foe Slayer, and I mentioned this before, Foe Slayer should have had another step somewhere along the way. Foe Slayer should have been, a D6 at level 2 for Hunter's Mark, a D8, somewhere around 12th level or so, maybe tied in with, maybe 10th level or 11th level. It should have been a D8. And then go up to a D10. But that sudden jump, you're going to be sitting on that D6 for a while. So I like it, but I wish it would have been changed up a little bit. These are fine. Prepared spells, again, great. So let's go ahead and fill this in. All right, so awesome. I think the changes to the Ranger are exactly what was needed to revitalize. Change to favorite enemy is great. Hunter's Mark is a powerful spell. Getting it with certain limitations lifted. Makes this a great opportunity for players to really sink into the idea of being a hunter. I also very much appreciate, oh my god, as mentioned with the Bard, I appreciate the change to prepared spells instead of the old ways. Definitely, nope. More of a utility benefit. Roving is awesome. That's it. I think roving is awesome. I think that describes it. You know what we'll do? Roving and tireless are awesome. Those two, yeah, abilities really exempt. Exemplif. Wow, I can't spell. Really exemplify what is to be a ranger. Oh my god, someone who travels far and wide. All right. Nature's Veil is a welcomed change from, what was it called? Yeah, Hide in Plain Sight. Copy and paste that. Oh, Feral Senses, like the new Dwarven Tremor Sense, is unexpected, but an awesome option. Foe Slayer is great, but I wish we would have had a mid-level buff to this. Maybe somewhere around, oh my god, 12th level, letting it hit a 1d8 in damage. Okay. I believe this is the best version of the Ranger that D&D has seen since 5e's release. I didn't realize there was a word limit. Makes sense there is. All right. How do I feel about the subclass? So, the Hunter subclass basically took the old Hunter subclass and instead of giving you choices, just gave you stuff. I'm okay with that. So, how do I feel about it overall? I'm satisfied. I like it. Actually, we'll let this speak for itself, and then we'll say how we feel. So, the ability to do extra damage on an attack as long as they've taken damage, I think that's great. That works. It's exactly the same as it was back in here with Colossus Slayer. If you've already hit them, it deals extra damage. So that's great. So Hunter's Lore, this was also something that was different. I don't believe this was anywhere else, but I like this. I like the idea of getting to be able to discern the weaknesses of creatures and your enemies. I think that's really cool, and I like how that works into the idea of this being a hunter, somebody who's going to know what hurts their prey more. Multi-attack, the change from volley to just being Conjure Barrage is an awesome option. Not only this, but the spell reduction ability is extremely interesting and something that I hope they explore in the future. I wouldn't go crazy on it. You obviously don't want to be casting fireballs with first level spells, but I think you know, having it very limited, tied to certain abilities, maybe making it specific to subclasses. I kind of like this idea. You know, this also really allows you to, you know, play it off of the fact that it was, you know, from another subclass before. So I like that change. And when you're hit with an attack roll, you can use a reaction to have the damage and redirect it to another creature. This was basically the same thing as Stand Against the Tide and kind of like Evasion. So, we're not Stand Against the Tide. No. What was I thinking of? No, yeah, it is just Evasion. Yeah, so it's, or no, here it is, yeah. Uncanny Dodge and Evasion. So, kind of similar. It's fine. I think it is what it is. So with that, I'm going to say with this, I'm very satisfied with it. You know, I think what they've done with the class in general and the subclass is great. So while I enjoyed the ability to choose my hunter options in the past to make the kind of hunter I wanted, I am not upset with the changes that have been presented. Yeah. So I think that really kind of sums up my opinion about it. You know, the added information on the hunter's mark is a welcome change. And the switch to Conjure Barrage is likewise welcomed. As for the ability to downcast, not gonna capitalize that. Downcast Conjure Barrage. I hope to see something like this utilized in the future. It is a decent way to tie spells into class / subclass features. All right, so I'm going to go on to the rogue. All right, so expertise we've always had. Rogues were the ones that always got that. Sneak attack. Now, this is the one that a lot of people are going to say that they've changed it, and I guarantee that there's going to be a lot of people out there who are filling this out. They're like, dissatisfied. And the reason for this is because it is once on each of your turns when you take the attack action. So the reason why a lot of people are actually kind of poo-pooing on the new rogue is because if you did not have the opportunity on your turn to get sneak attack, you could use it with your reaction. So, which on here, it's once per turn, you can deal an extra d6 to one creature you hit with an attack if you have advantage on the attack roll. So whereas this one is once on each of your turns. So this one was, you know, once per turn. This is on each of your turns, which you only had one reaction per round. So, you know, you were never like getting that doubled up, but you would be able to get that sneak attack damage on a reaction. Now, technically, that is not the case. So there's a lot of people who are a bit more critical about that than I am. I don't think it's as big a deal. I also don't think that, Sorry. I also don't think there's a ton of DMs out there who are actually going to be that much of a stickler about it to be like, well, you can't use it off of your turn. Because technically speaking, my reaction recharges on my turn. So I could argue that, you know, my ability to use a reaction starts on my turn and ends at the start of my turn. So, like, you know, my ability to use a reaction starts when my turn starts and ends either when I use it or when my next turn starts. So, again, I don't think it's a huge big a deal. I'm not as big a, you know, a stickler on it. I think this is fine. I think we're fine. I do like, though, the change where it is now, you know, just a little bit more, you know, just a little bit more straightforward. I like how they're how they're giving things like bigger categorized names. I think that's just a, whatchamacallit, a, you know, peace of mind kind of thing. Being able to say like, oh, is it, you know, you either need to be advantage or ally adjacent to target. You know, very simple. So there we go. I'm satisfied with that. Thieves can't. This is actually a big change. I didn't really take this into consideration last time. So thieves can't has always been the case. It's always been there. It's a language known to thieves that is like a lot of like phrases and catch, you know, code words and stuff like that. I like how now you not only get thieves can't, but you get one other language that you've learned. Now, I will personally say, at least if I ever do make a rogue with this new system, I would probably end up going something like the Underdark, because that's, you know, at least what I associate with, like, the rogue, you know, more nefarious groupings. So, I think that's a good change. I like that. So, cunning action, yeah, pretty much stayed the same. Subclass feature is great. Uncanny dodge. That stayed the same. Expertise. All of these. Evasion. That stayed the same. You know, pretty much everything there is pretty much sticking the same. Reliable talent. You know, that's the same. Being able to treat, you know, any roll of a 9 or lower as a 10. That's great. I think it was fine. Subtle strikes. Is this the one? I think this is the one. Yeah, this is the one. So, when you attack, you know how to, so you have advantage on any attack roll that targets a creature that's within 5 feet of at least one of your allies who is incapacitated. So this means that, you know, this is pretty much constantly giving you advantage, constantly giving you sneak attack. You know, I think that's great. It plays well into that. I really did like the change to subtle strikes. Or the introduction. So, subclass features. Slippery Minds, I think, was exactly the same. Proficiency on wisdom saves. Yeah. Oh, wisdom and charisma. Yeah, so, no, that was a change. That's fine. I didn't have an issue. I think it was, I think pretty much everything else was just where it needed to be. Everything else was just the same. And I know I talked about it this at the beginning, but, you know, like I'm going to put in here. I think it was the right call to not alter the rogue a ton. I think the rogue is a well-built class, as was argued by previous surveys. Surveys. And it was smart to leave it be. Though, the changes to Thieves Can't. Getting a second language. Thieves Can't what? Thieves Can't language. Getting a second language and the introduction of subtle strikes were nice buffs and adjustments to the class. There we go. All right, so how do I feel about the new subclass? Fast hands. Your bonus action can now be made to search, use sleight of hand. Yeah, that's fine. Oh wait, how do I feel about this? Overall, I'm satisfied with the rogue in general. How do I feel about the thief? So, fast hands, that's cool. I think that's smart. I like how they have played that into being a thief. I like the third story work. I think that was already a thing. Second story work, yeah. Second story work, third level ability. Yeah, it's pretty much the same, climbing speed. This is the same thing as that. So that's fine. That really didn't change. Supreme Sneak, having advantage on all stealth checks you made as long as you're not wearing heavy armor. I did actually like that because now you just have to make sure that you're not wearing heavy or medium armor to get that always advantage. So kudos to those rogues. You don't have to just stop, or use half of your movement. I know I talked about this at length whenever I did my last episode, but I like the new use magical devices. I think this is a great change. I think being able to give them more use with magical items is better, other than just, not being limited to the items restrictions. I think these are cool things that rogues, especially thieves, have just built up that skill to be able to cast spell scrolls and, use more items and just, get them to misfire if you're smacking a wand of missiles and it just goes off. It doesn't expend a charge or nothing, but I like that. You may now take a second bonus action on your turn, provided. I think that's. I think that's a huge change from Thief's Reflexes. That was something that a lot of people talked about, where not only is it now 14th level, not 17th, but getting that extra bonus action to dash, disengage, search, hide, whatever you want to do with it. I really like that idea. It also doesn't really when you do this, this can really get fucky with initiative. So you take your first turn in normal initiative and your second turn at initiative -10. And the problem with that is what if you have an 8? Do you take it at, -8 or -2? Do you take it 2 places after the top? Yeah, it got real messy. And, I think the idea was that the rogues were always going to be above a 10 in, in initiative, but that wasn't necessarily the case. So I like that. Overall, I'm very satisfied with it. The main point to this subclass that I enjoy is the update to use magic items. The ability to use more than normal is very in theme with a thief. The chance of using an item more times than it's meant to be used for. Also, very in theme. And the ability to use scrolls is a game changer. It makes a lot of sense that these changes were implemented. All right. Go. Yeah, like I said, I think pretty much everything else was fine. Oh, you know what? Also, Supreme Sneak is much better. Good job. There you go. Good job. Good job, Watsy. You deserve it sometimes. Do you use feats when playing D&D? Always. Which of these have I play tested? I haven't play tested any of them, unfortunately. I've added them, but you know, I haven't switched anyone over in any of my campaigns. I haven't used any of them personally, obviously. So I can't really speak on it. I have gone over all of them. I've given my opinions in other videos. So, you know, in order for me to do this, I'm going to bring up on another page here my my document that I used whenever I was going over these. So I'm going to have that here off to the side. As a way that I can reference, you know, what I like about them. Ability score improvement, sure, whatever. I think it's cool that everything's now a feat. That's awesome. All right, so actor. What was the change in actor? Well, actor was, you know what? Here, let me put this up. Let me pull up a different window. Second, folks. This thing being such a butt. There we go. All right, so I want this one. Do that. Take this. We're going to that and oop. There we are. Well, let's get that. Actually, let's not crop off that top as much. I often crop off the top of my Chrome browsers just so I don't have all my personal stuff floating around up there. All right, there we go. Cool. So actor feat, as you can see, you know, this is the document that I've worked on before. All right, so +1 to charisma, advantage on deception performance, and performance checks DC 15. Now, I remember talking about this. I have it starred there for a reason. This is the one where I believe it's better because now you're not constantly having to make repeated checks to contest people when you're trying to use this. I like the change that they've done where it's just one skill check. It lasts for an hour and that's it. So I'm very satisfied with that. Athlete. So, you know, you're getting a new, you know, the option for constitution. You're getting a climbing speed, standing up. So this one's advantage on jump checks. That's the big one. So not much has changed. It's just, it's kind of changed as a result of us having the new jump action. Charger, move 10 feet, plus 10 to damage, or push 10 feet now is, wait, what? MWA? I don't know what that means. What's MWA? I don't remember. There we go. Oh, melee weapon attack. Yeah, sorry. Dash, then you can bonus action melee weapon attack or shove. Or as long as you move 10 feet, you get a plus 10 to damage. Or you can push someone 10 feet. So the new one basically doing the same thing, giving you some extra damage. It's not a straight 5. You now have a 1d10, but... Or, sorry, 1d8. But 1d8 is an average of 5 anyway, so it's not a big deal. Dash getting an extra 10 feet, I think, is great. I think that's a good idea. Plus, you know, everything's going to get this strength and dex. I think that's just good overall. So, crossbow expert, the extra bonus attack with the one-handed weapon, the ability to add the mod to the offhand attack. Honestly, it basically takes away, you know, the bonus action attack, but with the new light feature, you know, that's already in there, so I don't think it's a huge deal. You now just get the ability mod to the damage for the offhand attack, so that's fine. Defensive duelist, it's all the same. You just get that bonus to that. So I'm not going to say very satisfied with that. It's a good change. It's a good update. I'm not going to say I'm super satisfied with it, because I think those things should have had those kind of bonuses from the beginning anyway. Dual wielder. Treat non-light as light if not two-handed and wielding light. Draw or stow 2 instead of 1. So this old one gave you a +1 to AC. Now you get a plus, you know, 1 to strength or dex, which could be a bonus to your AC in the long run anyway. So yeah, I'm fine with it. I think I think that's a good one. Durable, I definitely talked about this. The advantage on death saves and to be able to use a hit die to heal as a bonus action is so much better than the old durable. It is leaps and bounds better. So elemental adept, again, I'm satisfied with it. I'm not very satisfied with it. I would have liked to have seen something different. I can't personally say what that different would have been, but it could have been a little different. Other than that, getting the bonuses to your spell casting is always going to be great. Grappler, action to restrain grappled creature before, an advantage on grappled creatures. Now it's that you have advantage and you're not slowed, which is a new mechanic. That's a new condition. But when you unarmed strike, you can grapple and deal damage. So whereas before you now use your unarmed strike, and as long as you hit, you can choose to grapple. Now you can not only choose to grapple, but you can still hit them. I like that. I think that's a good change. We're going to go all the way down here. And you know what? These... Now, I'm going to say, I didn't go through it on stream. I did go through all the boons, all the epic boons on my own time. I never really talked about them that much, so I'm going to go over them here and now and explain my points. So, combat prowess. When you miss a melee attack, you hit instead. This is once per each time you roll initiative. That's impressive. I think that's really great if you're playing somebody like a fighter. The ability to cast Misty Step without expending a spell slot, and this is done once per long or short rest. I don't know. I think there's other things that you could have done with it. I think it could have been like, you know, a longer range one. If this is going to be, you know, dimensional travel, a 20th level ability, I don't necessarily think, oh wait, sorry. I don't necessarily think, Misty Step is the spell. Now, if we want to look into, you know, something like Plane Shift, getting Plane Shift once a day on, you know, per long rest, I think that is more of the epic boon of dimensional travel. But I don't know what they're trying to go with these. You know, this is a powerful ability, and it's once every time you roll initiative. So that could be multiple times a day, but this is just at least once every hour you can use Misty Step. I don't know. I'm not dissatisfied with it. No, you know what? No, I am a little dissatisfied with it. It's just kind of meh. So epic boon of energy resistance. I think at 20th level, this should be that you gain resistance to one of them, or you can gain immunity to a damage type that you are already resistant to. I like that you can change it once per long or short rest. I just wish that there would have been a better way to play it up for damage types that you already have. If you are playing somebody who really focuses on being really good at cold magic and you're resistant to cold, damage, make it so that you're immune. And you might already get that through your class, but make it something that is a little bit more than just resistance. So yeah. Boon of Epic Boon of Fortitude. Your hit point increases by 40 in addition. Whenever you gain hit points, you gain an additional amount equal to your con mod. Yeah, that's fine. I just realized what time it is. We got to get through this. We got some more to go. So you always ignore. I think that's really good. Luck, immediately after rolling a d20, you can roll a d10 and add it to that. I think that's also very powerful. The fact that it is limited, I think, is good, though. You can become invisible as an action and remain invisible until you use an action or reaction. The fact that that's not tied to anything, I think, is extremely good. Peerless aim. You can cause... Yeah, this is basically the same thing as combat prowess, so good on that one. Oop, there we go. And Boon of Recovery, which was... There it is. Bonus action to regain number of hit points equal to half of your max. And you succeed. That isn't a roll of 1. I think that's incredibly powerful. I think that should be for all, like, barbarians and paladins. Proficiency with all skills. Good. That's a great one. Speed increased by 30. That's a great one. Undetectability. That's a great one. Unfettered. Use a bonus action and can disengage, which also ends the grappled. That's great. I think those last ones are really powerful. I think some of these other ones are a bit not. I'm not a huge fan of the fighting styles being turned into feat, but you know what? I'm not going to complain, because if they're not doing fighting initiate feat that gives these, whatever. However they got to do it. All right, so back to... Here we go. Great Weapon Master. I am more of a fan of the new one. I think the new Great Weapon Master works a lot better. Getting to make that extra bonus attack is still there, but dealing damage that's dealing extra damage equal to your proficiency bonus, I think, is a better option. All right, so heavily armored. It's basically the same thing. You just get that extra option for con, so it is what it is. Heavy Armor Master. It's, again, pretty much the same thing. The only difference is that you can reduce your damage equal to your proficiency modifier, which is pretty much whatever. This is just better. I've done the math. The new Inspiring Leader is better in general. Because it is at the end of a rest, and it is, I don't believe I might be thinking of Healer. I'm thinking of Healer from the past. No, I appreciate this one a little bit more. Also, it comes with that, wisdom and charisma bonus. Keen Mind. I actually preferred the old one a little bit. I like getting the new skills and getting the bonus action study, but kind of this was very powerful. So I'm kind of like even keeled on that. This is whatever, light armored is whatever. Or no, actually, no, it's better because now you get medium and shields, not just light armor. So that is better. I liked the old Mage Slayer. Creatures concentrating on spells have disadvantage whenever you attack. That's great. You can turn a failed save into a success once per. I don't know. I like the ability to use a reaction, to use a spell as a reaction. I think, or no, sorry, no. You get a reaction for melee if somebody's within 5 feet of you casting a spell. I like that. I like that more. So, yeah, not a fan of that. Not a huge fan that medium armor doesn't impose disadvantage on stealth, but get a bonus to strength and dex, so it is what it is. Oh yeah, with this one, advantage on melee attacks against unmounted creatures is still the same. Now you get advantage on animal handling checks. Your mounts take no damage, blah, blah, blah. Reaction to force targets to hit you. It's basically the same thing, but now it's a reaction, so there is definitely a trade-off. I'm okay with it, though, because it makes it more important that you focus when you're in mounted combat. All right, Observant. I was kind of neither here nor there. Bonus action to search is good, and proficiency on or expertise in any one of these is great, but a +5 to passive perception and investigation was extremely powerful, and I will miss that, so kind of disappointed. Polearm Master got nerfed. I'm very disappointed with that one. I'm not even going to sit here and explain it because I already explained it before. This one is, 1 + 1 plus, So this one is the fact that you now can only give a +1 to something that you're lacking in, whereas before you could give a +1 to any ability score. So kind of meh. Ritual Caster is great, getting that buff to your ability score, but learning, 2 first-level ritual spells and once per long rest, casting a spell without having to use that penalty. And we talked about how ritual spells are now just a thing, so it's fine. I like this one. Sentinel now, it's basically the same thing. You just get that bonus, so kudos to them. I am more of a fan of the new Sharpshooter. I like the no melee range penalty. I think that's a good change. Shieldmaster, I actually liked the old one when you could add your shield bonus to dex saves. I actually really like that because it's imposing yourself. You're imposing your shield in front of yourself. So kind of disappointed that's gone. Skulker, 10 feet blind sight is very powerful. Advantage on stealth, and missing with range doesn't reveal. That was the same as before. 10 feet of blind sight is just always going to be a winner for me. I liked Speedster. I just like Speedster. Difficult terrain doesn't hurt you, and an extra 10 feet when not in heavy armor. Sweet. Old Spell Sniper was better. Yep. Nope. Old Spell Sniper is better. Learning that cantrip, taking Eldritch Blast, great. This was basically the same thing, and weapon training is, yeah, I think this is fine. I'm okay with this. So, man, Polearm Master needs to get more options, not less. What else were we? I preferred the old Observant as the recall any info in the last month was more powerful than is offered now. Yeah. Give me my spell sniper Eldritch Blast. That's what I'm going to say. What else was I going to say? Actor is a great new tool, and I prefer its simplicity. Speedster was also a standout, as the new feat is a welcome change. All right. How satisfied you were overall with the spell list? I didn't have an issue with the spell list. I like that they went through and changed some of the stuff. But I think overall, because I went through that on my own time, I like some of the changes they did. I think some of them are better. Dancing lights as illusion instead of evocation. Thunderwave is transmutation instead of evocation. I like that. I like the new setup. So, like the new school classifications for certain spells. They mostly make sense. Oh boy. How satisfied were you with the rules glossary? All right. Ability check. Sure. Armor training, having a new name, I'm fine with that. I don't have an issue with that. I think it makes sense. Artisan tools, they just upped the price on it, so whatever. I don't think anything changed here. Nothing changed here. Yep, nothing changed with that. I really, really love the new bark skin. So much more powerful, so much more evocative of what it is. This is fine, this is fine, this is fine. Actually, I really like the new term D20 test. I do like that. This is fine. Actually, I like that they give some more options for that. This is fine. I like the new exhausted conditions. The fact that it's not like 6 weird levels, but is now just a 1 through 10 thing. I think that's good. This was the same. Flying speed was the same. Gaming set. Grappled was the same. Guidance. The change to guidance is 100% on my radar. I think that's... I like the changes they did. Making it a reaction, not letting it be spammable. And that's why I always had it. A very specific rule in my games for that. I like that the help action is now limited to you have to have proficiency. I've always made that a house rule in my stuff. So we'll see. I like that. Heroic inspiration. I like gaining inspiration on a nat 1. I think I'm going to change to that in my games. I already talked to 2 of my groups. I'm going to talk to my 3rd one on Sunday. The hitting condition hasn't really much changed, so it is what it is. Same with hide. Incapacitated has changed. It added that you have disadvantage on initiative, which I don't care. I guess it's fine. I like the new influence action. I think that's a good way to do stuff. I think it gives a lot of new DMs a more clear understanding of how stuff is supposed to work. Invisible condition, that's fine. I do actually know. I like how they have recategorized certain things with that. I don't have a huge change or a huge opinion on the jump action. I think it's fine for what it is. Really love the new light weapon property, getting that extra attack for free. That's great. Long rest hasn't changed. Using magic as an action is basically the same thing. I kind of do like how it has changed the terminology, but I'm okay with it. Move is fine. Musical instruments were fine. Primal spells. Ritual casting. Love that that's now just open and available, even though that's how I was playing it already. Love the new search and study. I'm going to click those. I like those terms. Again, things that are easier for newer players to grasp a concept. I think that's so important. Short sword getting changed to a simple weapon. Great. That's smart. It should have been anyway. I like the introduction of the slowed condition. And beyond that, pretty much all of these were the same. So, I'm going to pull up my notes here. I'm going to write up my points about these. Bark skin. Is a great change to a very underpowered spell. It's more... Well, it's actually worth taking over other spells now. We got next. I like the new term D20 test. It's more straightforward and easy to understand. I appreciate the new examples for difficult terrain. I think the next time I do this, I'm going to fill this all out, like my typing stuff, and then I'm going to go back and just, like, review it. So I'm not sitting here typing this whole time. The new exhausted condition is far easier to understand and will surely be utilized by more groups. I know I plan on using it when the time comes. I am so happy to see that guidance cannot be spammed now. The help action requiring proficiency is how it should have been from the start. I'm going to list these kind of all together. Influence, magic, search, study, action is a welcomed, I keep saying that, it's a welcome change to terminology. What do we got next? Light weapons giving a free attack? Question mark? Yes, please. This is how I did ritual casting before. Didn't know the short sword wasn't simple. And I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, I think I already talked about the slowed one on my last survey. So there we go. Put those in there. Basically everything I just said. How satisfied are you with the ability checks? Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with them. I don't think really anything has changed. So, satisfied. Yep. Nothing's changed. No, I'm even going to do that over here. Nothing changed, question mark? I mean, I think this goes along with, a lot of it is, from the past. You know, it's all from 2014, so I've dealt with it. I love the new change. I think it's a good option to give the extra HP over a potential boost to AC. I appreciate that it's not as broken or spammable. How satisfied are you? Very satisfied. I like that you need proficiency. Yeah, I like both of these. Right now, my players like it. I'm very, you know what? I like these. I like the new influence stuff. I haven't really, like, used it, but, this will make it a lot easier for new DMs. Yeah. Those have nothing, yeah, this is still nothing changed, question mark. Again, nothing's changed. I like the direction that one D&D is moving. There's a lot of changes, but I believe that the changes we are seeing are positive and spell a good future, goof, for what is to come. How old am I? I am 31. I am from the United States. I am a white dude. I am a man. And I'm submitting. All right. Well, there we go. Right in literally under the exact amount of time that I had to do this. So, thank you those for sitting with me, hanging out, filling out this survey with me if you did. If you have a chance, go fill out this survey. D&D needs your feedback. We want to make this game better for everyone. So take some time. It took me about an hour and a half to fill it out, but I had a lot of writing to do. So thank you for joining me. I appreciate you hanging out. Come on back in about 2.5 hours to watch this week's episode of the first 15. We got a great show for you coming up. As you can see, when we get there, Streets of Rogue, Astronite, and Flurp. I'll see you folks then. Have a good night.